This week in the field, sacrificing sleep for a sunrise at the Grand Canyon. Hi everyone, I'm Scott Davenport. Welcome to In the Field. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to talk about sacrificing sleep, one of the things that we often need to do as landscape photographers. Before I get into that discussion, two quick things. Number one, I have a few seats left in my San Diego Coastlines workshop coming up in mid-September 2016. If you're interested in joining me in San Diego for some photographic fun at the beach, check it out. Link is in the show notes. And number two is I am gearing up for another in-post question and answer session. So if you've got post-processing questions, send them my way. I want to hear from you. I'll get you an answer sooner than the video gets put together, but I'm also just looking to find out what are those post-processing challenges that you're having so I can help out. With that, let's talk about today's topic, sacrificing sleep. So context here was at the Grand Canyon roughly about a month or so ago, and it was not a photo trip. It was family vacation, and well, that means you're not shooting in the ideal light for the Grand Canyon. And I decided that I was going to make a sunrise shoot happen. So I just really sacrificed sleep to make it occur. I wasn't staying near the canyon, spent 2 hours or so to get to my location for a 5 a.m. sunrise. So that means leaving my hotel at 2 in the morning, getting my boots to the location by 4 in the morning so that I had time to survey the scene, set up composition, and so forth. So when the light finally happened, I was able to capture the right shots. And it was, well worth the experience. I didn't grab any video footage. I only took one quick behind the scenes shot of the camera setup. I'll show you here. And predominantly that was because it was very dark right up until the point that the sun rose. And I had to shift gears and make sure I was getting the photos because especially for that sunrise just coming up over the plateau of the canyon, there's just a few moments to get this starburst effect I really wanted to make sure I got. And then, of course, I'm rushing around and dashing from spot to spot, taking different vantages of the canyon. So here's a few of the photos that I took on that morning, and these were all from Yaqui Point. So if you have visited the canyon or you're going to be going, it's a really good spot for any time of day, really. But especially at sunrise, it's quieter than some of the other points like Mather Point, which are closer to where the Grand Canyon Village is. And it's just one of those things that juts out into the canyon, so you get some nice vantage and views of all the different fissures and valleys, and so many layers and layers and layers of rock that are there. So after the shoot, the rest of that day, of course, I was incredibly tired, and I had a multi-hour drive with the family to get to our next destination on our way back to San Diego. So it was certainly a sacrifice of sleep for that day. I was tired at the end of that day, most of that afternoon, to be quite honest. But it was certainly worth it, and I came away with some wonderful photos as a result. So that is the tip of the week. Sometimes you do have to sacrifice sleep to get the photos that you want, to get those golden hour photos. It's a little easier to do in the evenings, I think. We have, at least there's fewer latitudes on the Earth where you're having to stay up very late to get sunset photos. I've actually never had the pleasure of going to places like Iceland where you have, sunset all through the night. Sunrise, that's a harder one. It's harder to get ourselves out of bed in the morning. But sometimes you just got to do it, especially if you're at a place as wonderful as something like the Grand Canyon. You may not be back there again if you're traveling with friends or family. Make the effort, make it happen. You'll be tired for a short while, but then later on you'll be really happy you did it. And that's it for this week in the field. Hope you've enjoyed it. Short and sweet this time. I will have one of these photos post-processing going through it in a couple of days, so stay tuned for that. And until we meet again, my name's Scott Davenport. Happy shooting.